Hey guys, my name is Patrick and this is Rising Saw Woodworking. Normally there's a So we're still working on shop upgrades and whatnot before we jump into the next project, because I want to get things a little bit more organized so I can have a slightly smoother workflow and spend less time looking for pencils and more time putting the right marks down on my work. This you wouldn't have seen this because I'm going to do this video. I'm doing this intro, but I've already made this, and then we're going to see how I made this. And then I'm going to basically be doing a few more exactly like it. So this holds all of my router bits. There's currently one missing right here. It's in the router, and I think that should be all of them.
Are you sure about that?
They're not labeled, and that's okay, because I can kind of just look at them and see what they are. These are the finger destroyers. And essentially, I took a piece of MDF, I drilled a bunch of holes in it, and then I put tape on the bottom so they just kind of float there. Otherwise they would fall through. Some of them would fall all the way through because they're short. But to demonstrate, that is what I'm going for. Now the piece of MDF I used here is like just scrap piece. So it's had grooves on it and stuff. And that's what I'm going for. I'm just going for scrappy on the wall. It's not meant to look super nice. It's just meant to be there. So yeah, voiceover me will show that. Non-voiceover me will just be working, getting things done, if you know what I mean. And hopefully we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I have enough scrap plywood, I don't think I do. And hey, would you look at that? I'm not standing on plywood or anything. It's because I moved it. Yeah, woohoo. Yay me. And at this point, live me is no longer in the video. You're stuck with me, the voiceover version of myself. I'm cutting 3.5-inch strips of plywood out of all this scrap plywood that I had laying around, and then I'm going to use those as the sides and backs of the drawers. I want to point out that my dust collector is on, but I discovered something. The hose on the outside had popped off, and I don't discover that till much later. So here I am putting in my strips into the little drawer cubbies. I give them a quick little measure, and I give them a quick little chop on the miter saw. And then using a little spacer, it's about 1/8 of an inch, I start working on attaching my little side pieces. And I just use brad nails for this entire thing. The whole thing. No glue, just nails. And as I'm doing my nails, I do make sure to place 2 nails in the same spot, because that's effective use of your nails, I think. And I seem to have a weird blue worm in my ear. Little strange. Little bit strange. Then I mark the line on the back of the panel, cut it on the miter saw, and try to place it in. And then there we go. We got it in. And then I just hold it in really tight and I walk away. Leave it. Perfect. Just, it's gonna stay. I don't know what I'm doing. Then a few more brad nails. Oh, move your finger. Oh. I totally thought I was going to take out my finger there. And then I do the opposite side. And it seemingly has held together for at least 2 days. And then I use a very healthy amount of brad nails on the bottom. Except I think I'm running out of nails, so I'm inspecting to make sure that there's actually a nail in the hole. I was okay for that. I then take a piece of MDF and I cut it down, and I use that as the face frame. However, I completely failed to show that. Now I want to make an insert for all of my router bits, because that's what this piece is for, as described at the start, or shown at the start. So I measured the inside and I do some rough measurements on this, and then I take it over to the table saw. I do have my dust collector on, but again, I discovered during my cleanup that it was unplugged on the back of my table saw. So it was on, but it wasn't doing anything. But that's okay. And I wasn't showing you the piece of MDF. It's a very nice piece of MDF. But what I was doing is seeing if it fit in the drawer. It didn't. Not very well. And I continue to bathe in MDF, which I'm told isn't a good idea. I don't know, I've been filling my bathtub with MDF dust and I thought it was good for the skin. I guess it's not. So we gotta come up with a solution for that, which brings me to an idea. I'm going to put on my top dust collector and I'm going to run that for 2 months. I'm going to give it a 2-month test and see how it affects the workflow and me actually making shots for the camera and stuff. If it's going to make it less entertaining or not. So that's something I'm going to do. Hopefully that will result in better dust collection, less bathing in MDF, and safer overall woodworking practice. And now I'm going to put a couple inserts into the drawers and hold my sheet of MDF just a little bit higher because I want my bits to kind of float in there. So I place my little pieces in there and I do what I've done with everything else, and I use brad nails and I just put it together. Because again, this is quick, this is sloppy work. It's just getting drawers in the wall. Storage, organization. Doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to somewhat function. I then go and I test it, I place it in there, and I didn't like it too much. I wanted it to be angled towards myself, so I used this little piece of walnut and I nailed it to the back, and then I placed in my MDF, grabbed all my router bits, started counting, and started drilling holes in the MDF. And I will say I made quite a mess, and I think I've dropped my drill too many times. When it comes to chucking things in the chuck, it kind of slips a bit now. Yeah. Anyway, so I got my first router bit in, the finger destroyer, and it fit, but it kind of sank into nothingness, and I didn't really like the way that looked. So I do have a solution for that, but we'll have to wait till later. Now, I wanted to try a tighter fit as a solution, so I switched to a actual 1/2 inch bit, and I very, very slowly wiggled that drill through the MDF, and I liked it, but it's too tight. I didn't want to fight with it to pull the actual router bit out. I wanted to be able to put it back in, grab it, put it back in, grab it very easily. So I hid this. I don't know how I managed to use a Forstner bit, like a slightly bigger Forstner bit, and drill the hole in a hole already there. But I somehow managed to do it. And then I just made a lot more holes. But first, we needed some markings so that we knew somewhat where to make our holes. And then I proceed to pretty well not follow the markings very well, but that's okay. That's fine woodworking. That's what that is. And after making my lines, I started drilling a bunch of holes. Just mirror, and made a gigantic mess. But I got all my router bits in one spot, and I even have room left over, which is awesome. I can get some more router bits. I already have an idea of which ones I want to get, and I'm excited. And this is just so satisfying. That was really nice to watch. And it was even nicer to do it. Now I wanted my bits to float, as I said. And I didn't want it to be so sunken, so I just used some painter's tape and I double layered it. And it seemingly holds. If I go to put in a router bit and I push too hard, it kind of sinks down a little bit. But I managed to get all of my router bits into one spot and place every single one of them in there. And I did try to do somewhat of organization while placing them in there, so they're kind of in a similar area. It sort of worked. I did try to get all my nice routed bits near the bottom because I have my Freud ones, and I think it's a nice. And now is the weird kind of security camera view of the video. This was kind of nice to do. Now, it was very uninteresting footage, I will say. Like, there's no real close-up shots of anything happening, which makes it not super awesome. But I will say, from just the idea of working and just doing things, it was quite nice. I have my old phone on a sledgehammer in the left corner there, and I have music in my ears from it. I'm still recording. I still got audio technically going off the mic on my shirt, and I was able to just power through all this stuff. And then I was able to, I started cleaning up, organizing everything, and I'm ready for the next project, and I hope you guys are as well. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little shop upgradey cleanup video, and I'm excited to get back into just projects again, real projects.